Welcome back. So today we're talking about Back to the Future. Movie was released in 1985. It's about a kid who goes back to 1955 and needs to get back to the future. It was directed by Robert Zemeckis, written by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale. It took them about 11 years from the time they started writing it to the time they got it into full production to get it going. Cripple will be on shortly. He's running a little bit late, so I decided to start without him. So here we go. Let's talk Back to the Future, one of my favorite movies of all time. So here we go. From my understanding, people that have been in movie schools and teach them how to write, teach them how to direct, they do study the Back to the Future script, and it's considered to be one of the perfect scripts ever written. It's about a kid who has no growth. His character never changes from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. It isn't until the end of this trilogy you actually see his character change and grow and become a better person than he was since the beginning. In the first movie, he's the same person from the beginning to end. There's no character growth. There's no change. He just is who he is. So it's considered to be a perfect script. But again, it took him 11 years to write it, so why would it not be a perfect script? The other two films, not considered perfect. I get that. They did not spend as much time on them. They filmed them back to back. They finished 2, went straight to 3. Fun times. The original actor in Back to the Future was Eric Schultz. After they decided that actor did not work for that role, he didn't have the comedic timing they wanted for that. They went back to their original choice, Michael J. Fox. So as we wait for Cripple, let's go into a little bit of that backstory. So at that time, Michael J. Fox was working on Family Ties under Gary David Goldberg, I believe his name was, who is actually friends with Robert Zemeckis, according to Michael J. Fox's memoirs, his autobiography. He was unable to, when they talked to Gary Goldberg about Back to the Future and having Michael J. Fox be the star of it, Gary Goldberg didn't think it was a good idea. He didn't want his main star for Family Ties to be gone from the show for that long. So they moved on to Eric Schultz. Michael J. Fox started to film Teen Wolf. As he was filming Teen Wolf, he saw the DeLorean for the Back to the Future movie and wanted to be in it. He wasn't able to because, again, Gary Goldberg asked Robert Zemeckis not to. But after filming about half the movie, they realized that Eric Schultz did not work for the role that they wanted, and so they went back to Gary Goldberg and asked him if they can get Michael J. Fox. So after stopping him from doing it the first time, Gary Goldberg decided to give Michael J. Fox a script and give him a chance to do it. And since Michael J. Fox wanted to do it, he immediately jumped on it. So it meant he filmed Family Times during the day and then Back to the Future at night. So he spent his travel times sleeping in the back of a station wagon as he went from the set of Family Ties to Back to the Future and then vice versa. So he would sleep at the back of a station wagon during the filming of both products. And so that's the beginning of how all of that got started. So it's funny because in that movie, he does not, even though he does play guitar, he's a decent guitar player. He went through extensive practice to learn how to play the guitar to make the Johnny B. Bad scene really realistic. He actually didn't play the guitar for that movie or even sing in that movie. The voice sounds very close to his own voice, but he wasn't the singer of that movie. Although he did play the guitar and sing in a movie called Light of Day, which is a movie I've seen back a long time ago, but haven't had any recent viewings of it because, to be honest, I can't find the movie. I can't find it on DVD. I can't find it on Blu-ray. Can't find it on digital. It's one of those movies that's out there, but just not easy to find. So, and I will be honest with you, I am a massive Michael J. Fox fan. Back to the Future is my favorite movie. And when Cripple goes on, we're going to talk about the script he wrote for a sequel to Back to the Future trilogy. Going back to the DeLorean and Doc Brown and a lot of other interesting things that make absolutely no sense when you actually read the script. But it was fun reading it. So not a bad script. This doesn't make a lot of sense. It kind of jumps out of continuity with what's already been placed in front of him. So it's just one of the things. So today we're talking about Back to the Future. As I said before, I'm just repeating myself. Don't know why. So they filmed the first movie. They had trouble finding somebody to jump in and take advantage of that film. Because Robert Zemeckis had a couple bad films before that. Well, not necessarily bad, but just not great. They're not like the greatest films. They're middle ground. And so a lot of studios didn't want to take a chance on him. As he shipped it around, he did talk to the people at Disney about Back to the Future, and because of a scene in the movie where, sorry, spoilers for this movie. This movie's been out since 1985, so it's like over 30 years old. So sorry for spoilers. Ooh, what's this? What's this? What's this?
Boom.
What's this?
Boom. Hey.
Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Yeah, it took me there. What the hell? I don't know what the hell happened with that. That was annoying. That was really annoying. I'm trying to sit there and like
you
push
muted.
it. It goes,
You
no.
muted.
Huh? Oh, did it do it again? How am I muted? Oh. That's why you're supposed to start first. Still shows me as muted.
To me? Can I just not hear you? Let me take a look at this.
Shows
It's
me
always
up.
fun to hear tech stuff when we're doing stuff. But no, I can hear stuff.
So you can't hear me.
Now I can. Now you're back.
Oh well, shit. Now, there you go.
Hey, how you doing? Hope you don't mind. I started the show without you.
I saw it and I'm like, okay. And then I'm pressing the thing for it and it just won't let me join in. So I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to leave and come back. Screw it.
Yeah, I did see that too. I did see you had trouble connecting and coming back in. Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm tired.
Well, you've been streaming a lot on Twitch.
Very tired.
Have you hit partner yet?
No, just affiliate. Affiliate's fine.
Well, yeah.
Partner is a lot more. They got a lot more stuff convoluted than that. And
Yeah, I think you got to be consistent for 30 days.
I don't care.
I believe
for partner, that's going to be a nice day.
Yeah, but don't you got to be consistent for like 30 days straight?
It's still 30 days straight, but then it's still the requirements are put up a lot more.
Okay.
So affiliate isn't too hard to accomplish, but to keep it, you got to still be consistent with it too. So,
yeah.
And I'm trying to keep going with it, but I'm trying to adjust how I do it now compared to when I start going back into work for a couple days.
Really, just a couple days?
That's nice. They're only requiring 2 days out the week, if that. They are noticing that cases are going up in certain counties.
Yeah,
and the fact that now that the whole place has said, "Hey, you're going to be wearing a mask the entire time, no matter what," it's kind of getting them going. Yeah, and I'm not saying that people, shouldn't go out and have a good time, but Lollapalooza might just increase those cases.
Not probably. I'm gonna say definitely.
Just like, I don't. Jesus, everybody's just so impatient, and I think it's gonna. I think like what was it? Will County and DuPage County, they started saying you got to be wearing masks in certain places, or I think it's like government facilities or something.
Well, schools as well.
Yeah,
at least in Chicago, every school needs to wear masks all day long. Doesn't matter anymore. If I'm correct, I believe in California they're doing Delta. In Texas, they have Lambda. Why am I mispronouncing this word so badly? I apologize. Lambda. Lambda. There we go. Thank you, sir. And then in Chicago, we have in Illinois we have Gamma. Sorry, Gamma. So those are three different strains that are now in the United States. So we need to be a little bit more careful, more protected.
Yeah, they say be a little bit more protective, and then poof, let's all go to Lollapalooza. Like,
yeah. So I'm hoping it doesn't mess up my comedy show in September. I want to see a live comedy show. I haven't done that in a while. I want to go. One of my friends, Mr. Jay Washington, is doing a show.
He's doing a live show here?
Yeah, he's doing a live show here. Ooh. September 10th at Reggie's. So
I'll check it out.
Yeah. The tickets are cheap. It's like $25 a ticket, so it's not bad.
Oh, that ain't much.
Yeah, so
that ain't much at all. Dude, we could just park. We could park on Wabash free.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I could park on Wabash or any other street for free. You might have to pay.
Well, if you're going, you just pick me up. Like, we don't need to be like
free parking.
Yeah, exactly.
Might as well utilize that thing.
Although it might be a late night, so be prepared for that as well. Like I said, it's a friend of mine, so it might be a late night.
No big deal. Late night, big deal.
So check it out. Go to Reggie's, buy the tickets. They're pretty cheap.
Go to Wedgie.
Reggie's. Do not make fun of my speech impediments. REGGIE. Reggie's.
Shit, you completely use that wedgies.
Reggie's. Nobody's giving you Reggie, dude. That's the linear piece of it. I have a problem with R's and W's. That's my speech impediment actually shining through. I have been in speech class because of it. So, hey man, how you doing?
I'm just like I said, I'm tired. It's just been a long. Jesus, dude. After that, what's it been? 3-4 weeks? Jesus, dude.
It's been 3 weeks because we took 2 weeks off.
I'm off.
We took 2 weeks off.
I'm completely off. It's just after our friend's wedding and then this Polish wedding I hit up, that was redonkulous. It's like one thing after another, and then planning ours and getting everything set for it is now becoming an issue, and then someone passed away on her side, so it's like,
yeah, I heard about that.
All right, so stuff is getting pushed, and it's like, oh well, okay, cool. We just got to adjust for it, everything family first. We'll get all that done, and then we'll just adjust things accordingly, and go from there. And it's just, oh my God, man.
I mean, and you still have like 5 more weddings to go through this year. So.
Yeah, I
already have one. You have like 5.
Well,
5 to go.
The next one, I'm prepared for it physically and mentally now. We know exactly what we got ourselves into. It's not going to be as long, so it won't continue into the next day or so. So that will be okay, because the last one continued into Sunday, and it just, wow, they really, Jesus, they know how to, I'll give it to them for one. They know how to eat. They got a lot of food, but damn, the drinking was just, boom shot, boom shot, boom shot. Like, dude, we just woke up.
How did you just wake up?
Like, we literally woke up, like, I don't know, half an hour beforehand, had a shoot over there, and as soon as we got there, both of their dads are just looking like, you ready? Like, can I get a sandwich first or something? I mean, there's food there. Let me get a muffin or something to put some of this down, because shit, they were But I'll give it to them, man. They threw it. It was a good night. It was an interesting.
When did you become so weak? That's my question to you. When did you become so weak?
No, dude. I'm telling you, when I say they come over and boom, they hit you with shot after shot after shot. They did it, and it's usually in triplet. And then they come again, and then boof. You know, the bride's father sees you, and I'm going, oh fuck. And then she's just looking at me like, well, okay, who's driving? Well, screw it. If I'm taking all three, you're doing it. Let's go. Screw it. Let's pack it back. Because, I mean, I could tell the dad no, but I've been trying to push him off for like 2 or 3 hours. Well, screw it. Come here. Boom. And then they brought out more food. And I'm just like, all right, well, cool. I'll just eat some more and we'll be okay. And I was.
Weak sauce.
You got to remember, I was drinking. The first shot took place at 8:30.
Okay.
In the morning. I didn't even get inside to get any type of breakfast or anything. They were just like, it's time for a shot. I'm like, can I put down my coat or something? Can I put this stuff down so I don't mess it up or anything? Like, damn, nope, take a shot. All right, cool. Boom. And they literally pulled me in, took a shot. The dad came out and was like, we're taking pictures outside. Boom, had to go right back out. Took another shot. So I'm already 3 dip in, 8:30 in the morning.
Weak sauce.
Okay, cool.
That's kind of shit I expect from your wedding. It better be a 2-day event where we're just taking a shot after shot after shot after shot.
Look, I don't mind taking. Have something to eat first. Let somebody get something in, some ham, some type of meat. Shit, eat some bread or something just to soak it up a little bit. It just kept coming, and I'm just like, dude. And then we got on the bus, and I'm just like, whew, yeah, it's nice and cool in here. Shot. All right, screw it. Let's go. Boom, 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 boom. So it was long and enduring, and nah.
If you're not passing out, it's not good enough.
No, it was kind of hot, so if I passed out, it would probably be a emergency event, and I didn't want to steal their thunder.
Like I said, if you're not passing out, you're not doing it right. That's my answer to it all. If you're not passing out, you're not doing it right.
No, I didn't plan to pass out. I wasn't that wasn't on the agenda. Granted, it did get a little cooler, but it was fine. I learned my lesson. I froze the hell out of this room. So leaving it off for a whole while, I'm comfortable.
Yeah, I left the wrong fan on high. I was like, oh no, I can go down to low. I have 2 fans on the low, so I'm good. Hey, so Back to the Future. How you doing?
Back to the Future. Damn, dude. I think the last time I watched any of them was probably right after the last year. So about 1.5 years.
Okay.
It's been a minute.
As we both know, it's my favorite movie of all time, so I watch them regularly. And I literally just want to talk about it. Like, I just gave a bunch of background information before you got in about it. About the
I heard you talk. I heard you going for it, and I was just like, well, all right, well, damn, I want to jump in, but it just wasn't going. So I was just like, all right, well, whatever.
So what are your thoughts on the movie?
Which one?
Back to the Future. Just the first one. We can, if we have time, we'll go to the other 3. We'll just talk about the first one right now.
The first one was, if you didn't pay attention to it the first time, you kind of got to watch it 3 or 4 times to see subtle things that change.
Yes.
Because they did change some things, and they were so subtle that if you didn't pay attention, you didn't see it. Somebody had to tell you, like, hey, dude, did you not notice the sign in the mall parking lot?
Yes.
No. Like, how did you not notice it? Because I wasn't paying attention. I'm watching Marty stumble over himself and watching himself. I ain't worried about no damn sign. But there's little things like that where you're just like, ooh, it's an interesting change. Yes. It's nice. They were for their version of time travel, they were trying to be consistent with it.
Yeah. And one of the biggest issues with that is like Marty has no idea what his life is like.
Yeah, he doesn't. He wouldn't. But he doesn't know, but everybody else knows, and that's perfectly okay as long as he doesn't do anything out of the blue. But I mean, compared to how his life was and how his life ended up, it's kind of like, ooh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he's living 2 different lives now. So the fact that it's like, hey, we're doing this. Wait, I don't remember that. Like every tradition he knows might be different now. Like you look at his entire house is different. He has a car that he wanted. He has a new girlfriend because they changed her from 1 to 2.
Well, I mean,
we'll get into
that's
that
her
later.
problem. I mean, it would have been good. I mean, did they cut her out for like one of the newer, like the Blu-ray or something like that, and then put Elizabeth Shue in, or did they
No,
just
what
say
happened?
they
What
just
happened
kept her
was
in?
what they kept her in it because what happened was they did the first one, and then when the studio wanted a second one, from what I read, her mother got sick with cancer. So instead of doing 2, she decided to stay with her mom and take care of her mom.
Wow.
So she wasn't able to do the second one. So that's why they brought in Elizabeth Shue for 2 and 3.
I mean, to her credit, 2 sucked. It was worse. It was between them. I'd say it's 1, 3, and 2.
I mean, that's an accurate statement. But again, I know you missed my intro. So like from the time they started Back to the Future to the time they actually filmed it was 11 years. So they had 11 years working on the script, opposed to the 2 years they had to work on 2 and 3. So and they filmed those 2 back to back. So there was going to be some little bit of inconsistencies and issues. I mean, let's be realistic. 2 was just a redo of 1, and then 3 was his own story. Although a lot of people feel that 3 is the weaker story. Just depends on your taste.
What? That 3 is weaker than 2?
Yes. A lot of people feel that way.
No, I give it more. It's kind of like 3 made up for 2.
3, yeah.
3 made up for 2 because 2 was just it just like it felt like I knew where they were gonna go with it, and it was kind of like cool that they're going future and web, but it felt like it was playing the same thing, but it was just funny because it was in the future. But then when they went back to the past, it just felt like, okay, it's cool to see it for a little bit. It would have been cool if it was like just one thing or something that they had to get and then pop out, kind of leaving it alone. I don't know. It just felt like they were just reusing the same tactics, but just a different, they were just using the future and then they were using 1955 again. And it was like,
well,
okay.
When you really look at it, they had for the content that they got later on, they didn't make it like, I know they set it up for a sequel. We gotta go back to the future, but they didn't really leave it open for a sequel because when they got to the future, there was nothing to do there. It was like, hey, we help our kids. Okay, kids are done. That took 2 minutes. Oh crap, we should have a whole hour and something of trying to find out an issue, making an issue, and then trying to solve it, which led them back to 1955. So that's the problem.
Yeah, I didn't really. Yeah, I wasn't really. 2's good just to see for like the effects and stuff like that. I think if they knew they were gonna they were definitely in for a part 2 to begin with, and had some of that continuity from the second one in the first one. Just hey, the door, something there where it gave it a hint where, like I said, if you weren't paying attention, you didn't notice it unless you watch it like 3 or 4 times. Then you notice it. But I mean, it was just, hey, they were filming a movie, and hey, if it does great, let's go again. If not, then well, whatever.
Oh, I fully agree with that. The second one is definitely the weaker of the 3. There's a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of what they could have gone with it. They just didn't get to there. That's just the way it is. They ended up going back to 1955 and then going to hey, we gotta get back to the future. So,
but like I said, in this particular trilogy, their continuity did fit. At least they tried to keep it within whatever they did there. They tried to keep it within. So it was kind of cool. If you didn't pay attention to exactly what year the DeLorean was heading back, you didn't notice it until the dude showed up with the letter going, boom, here you go.
Yes.
I mean, they said it. They said it pretty quick, and he hit it real quick. If you didn't see it, then You didn't notice it, but then boom, you start playing it back, and you're like, "Ooh, he was." They kind of told you where he was going to go, but
yeah. He even says it. 1885 was the one place he would love to go to see the Old West. So that was always going to be a situation. It's just like 2 with a setup for 3. That's what it comes up to.
Yeah,
two
sets
up
up for 3. 3 was cool with it. I mean, for 2, I did like the fact that they did predict quite a few things that did come a little bit true. I really wish the pizza, knocking itself out in a few seconds would have came true, but that ain't, that was just a wish, but that ain't actually possible. So
where's Jaws 25?
Yeah,
where's Jaws 25?
Yeah. No.
Where are those 80s diners with President Reagan? Fuck that. Where's my hoverboard? My real hoverboard. Like, not that fake 2-wheel, lean forward, lean back, lean forward. Like, no. Where's my real hoverboard?
See, you're not getting in unless you're gonna start a Kickstarter or something, and hopefully you can figure out the scientifics of that, because people have tried and it hasn't really gone.
They figured it out. It's just not cheap enough to actually produce on a consumer level.
I mean, they could do it. It's just not just financial. It's just
financially, it's not cheap enough for a consumer.
Not cheap enough to do it.
So,
but I mean, they did. The sneakers were interesting. That was pretty cool. I seen those. They
created those.
Yeah, they created those, and then they put it out, and it was just like, okay, it only took another 30 years to finally get at least a bunch of them out. Great.
Well, they waited, like, when that year came around, they're like, hey, we can make money off this, and they did it. They found a way to do it. It's just I don't have $500 to buy those shoes.
Yeah, I don't really. So. Granted, yes, and in this day and age where people have gotten so lazy to want everything done by itself, boom, remotely or whatever, it would be nice just to slip your foot in, and poof, it just automatically goes. And I mean, they did look cool, and they still look cool now. The same same ones from the movie. They look cool now based on it, only because they're automatic.
Hey, Nike made those shoes do exist. It's just they cost a lot of money. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, no. I win the lottery, sure, I'll knock it out. But until then,
good luck with that. Now they're well over $500. Now they're like $5,000, $50,000. So good luck with that. Have you ever played the video games?
No. Wait, I will say yes, but I don't remember playing them a lot.
I'll say this.
There was one. I know there was a weird video game for Super Nintendo. It was very, very just
Nintendo.
Yeah. Boom. Huh?
Yeah. Nintendo.
No, there was one for Super Nintendo.
I've never heard of that one.
That one. Yeah, it was the typical, just 2D straight going across. Boom, 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 boom. It was.
That sounds like the Nintendo version.
Because most Nintendo games were yet again 2D going boom, 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 boom.
You had to go down the street to try to collect time, stop clocks so you don't run out of time. That's Nintendo, bro, not Super Nintendo.
No, this one had the car.
Okay, I played that one.
Yeah,
I played the ones for Nintendo, and then I'm
trying to remember it. I really am, because I know they made. I think they made 2 of them. I don't think they made the third one. I don't think they made a third one after that, because they probably didn't sell.
On Nintendo, they had 1, 2, and 3. So,
yeah. Well, I don't remember. Like I said, I'm trying to remember the games, but
I remember the Nintendo game because I own it. I still have it in a box. So, I think, or do I? Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't have that game anymore. Scratch that. But I had it when I was younger. I played it when I was younger. So, I had the game. I remember the it made no sense because you had the skateboard. Because you had the skateboard, It was like you could just zip through, but people had glass. There was 2 guys carrying glass. It made no sense whatsoever to the movie. You had to throw pies at people's face, at the bullies' faces, so they didn't throw you out the window. It was completely insane. But I will say the PlayStation 3 version of it was fantastic. It was one of those story games where it's 5 different parts.
So it actually had some type of
yes, that's
storage. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So at the end of the game, it was like 150 like Marty's going, we got to go back and fix it. And it was just like, oh, okay. They just messed everything up at that point. So it worked.
I mean, they did have a little bit of fun in Lego Dimensions. That was interesting.
I have not played that one.
It wasn't really like a big part of. I mean, there were characters in it, so they'd help you with other storylines in there. But it was cool to have the characters part in it, and it did have both Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd as their voices. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, the game I played did not have it. Although it did have the voice of Claudia Wells, who played Jennifer in the first movie. But
damn, she got lucky. Let's give her a call. She's like, let's call her back. Maybe, probably, what's her face ain't doing nothing. Let's call her. We know she ain't. But boom, hey, you know.
Hey, like I said, she quit acting to take care of her mom when her mom got sick. So that's. But it gave Elizabeth Shue a shoot up, so whatever.
But I think 3 was the story. I mean, the story was pretty easy to follow. There wasn't really too much you needed to pay attention to. They kind of let you know what was going down and what needed to happen to get to there, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And the way they did it was gave it some. It was a nice, interesting, instead of doing it, trying to run it on a street, now we're going to do it on train tracks, and that was different, which is good.
I mean, that one end scene was set up in 2. If you pay attention close enough to, like, you can see Biff watching that movie where that last bit comes into play. So that actually worked pretty well.
Yeah, it's well, because it's kind of like, okay, how did he remember that? Oh, wait, he did it. He saw it in 2 real quick, and it just popped. Oh, cool. So the continuity part, like I said, they kept it up, and it was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, even the fact that his name was Clint Eastwood. So, like,
well, then it turned out to be Clint Eastwood Ravine at the end, which was
So,
and nobody big batted an eye about it. They were just like, well, I guess that is Clint Eastwood Ravine. Somebody did it back in the 1800s. I guess we can't say no to it.
I mean, it's supposed to be the Clara Ravine, but when Doc saved Clara, that changed history. Yeah. So it had only one who went over was Clint Eastwood. So
I did like the fact that whole machine was just there just to create a couple of ice cubes. That was cool. Like, wow.
I still want to see the story of how he turned another train into a time machine.
That would be good. I know they said, or they hint, they just spoke about it really quick about how his house burned down, but it would have been really cool to see how it did.
We'll talk about 2 different parts. You're talking about when he made the DeLorean. I'm talking about when he made the train.
I'm talking about his actual house because they said it burned down, and I'm just going, well, how the hell did it burn down?
That's when he was making the DeLorean. I'm talking about when he turned the train from 1885.
The train would be another story to keep going with it too. They obviously he did something with that hoverboard. The hoverboard was just advanced as hell for him to do it and figure everything out, and poof, there he is.
Yeah.
But first he said, hell with it, I'm going to jump all the way to the future and then come back a little bit. But that's the best part, because you got all the time in the world when you do it.
Yes. Yeah. He had 2 kids, Jules and Vern. So
that was interesting.
But like, you go back into the first movie, Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale had issues like getting studios to actually buy the movie and actually produce the movie. Because at that time, Robert Zemeckis, he was a decent director, but he wasn't considered like a great director. A couple of movies they did well, but they didn't do good enough. So a lot of people didn't want to take chances on them. Like they took the movie to Disney to have Disney look at it, and they did not like the whole mother and son kissing scene in the middle of the movie, towards the end of the movie. So they refused to do anything with it because they were like, that's gross. So And then when they finally got somebody to look at it, they're like, well, we'll go back to Spielberg. Let Spielberg produce this movie. And so, but hey, it worked. But
it worked, and it's turning out to be one of the best ones.
yes. I was saying in my intro, that script is considered to be a perfect script. And it is taught in, from my understanding of people that actually took classes in movie schools, that script is taught in movie schools for being a perfect script. It's a script where the character does not change until there's no character growth from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. He's literally the same person from beginning to end. And when you look at the trilogy, his character doesn't change until the third movie. Until he actually sees what happens when his actions go unchecked. When he lets people control what he does by a single word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now I think about it. Damn.
Yeah, there's no change from him from beginning to end of the movie.
There really isn't. Yeah, he stays the same way until he finally figures it out.
Like, he changes every other character in that movie, but he stays the same. You know, and then when you really watch the second movie, you see where that leads him. At least his big downfall. His big, oh, I'm going to do this. Or, oh, how dare you call me that? Like, the whole big issue that happens with Doc is because he can't keep his head straight because somebody calls him a chicken. Like, if he would have just kept on walking, he'd have been fine. But because nobody, and I mean nobody, calls him a chicken, he had to control fight. Which left him on the floor and the other guy standing over him without even throwing a punch. So, and then it's the third movie where he actually changes his thoughts because he almost gets killed because of it.
Glad he remembered what he saw in part 2.
Yeah. Good. Not just that, the fact that he stays down long enough for that idiot to walk up to him without a gun.
Yeah.
Because if Mad Dog was smart, he would have popped off a couple more shots before walking up.
Yeah, but you know, the generic movie thing would be boom, you shot him once, you killed him. That's it.
Yeah.
Let's keep it just like that. It happened. All right, let me go make sure this fool's dead, or just, you know, I don't know, go over there, put my foot on him, be like, hey, I won, and oh shoot, stovetop in the face, boom.
Stovetop to the face. Another funny thing about that is Huey Lewis in the first movie. If you remember who Huey Lewis was in the first movie.
No.
Okay, so Huey Lewis is the one that wrote the theme song, "The Power of Love," for that movie. Okay,
I was drawing a blank for a second when you said it, and I'm just like, wait, what? That's right. He was one of the judges, right?
Yeah, So as Marty is playing, as Marty the Pinheads are playing "Power of Love," he's the one that goes, "It's just too loud for us." He's the judge that takes away all of Marty's hopes and dreams to play for the dance. It's fantastic. So
see, but it's subtle things like that where if you didn't know who he was or anything,
yeah,
you wouldn't get it too much. But it was just like, wait,
yeah,
that is him. But I mean, he
him.
didn't look anything like himself, really. He had the hair down, really. He had bigger glasses, and he's just sitting there, just like, kind of felt like he was just gonna be like, Bueller.
But he's also the only one that got to do a facial emote to the song as he goes back and forth looking at each member of the judges, and he's the one that gets speaking line. So everybody just sits there cold face. He was like,
I mean, did he ask to be in it, or did they just throw him in it just to be funny?
Oh, they threw him in it to be funny. This is cameo because they're like, "Hey, do the song for the movie." He's like, "Hey, it's a song." They're like, "Hey, do the scene real quick." So
that's awesome though.
Yeah,
that is. Just to throw something else in there. Shoot.
Yeah. And you have to love the fact that Marty McFly is the one that started Johnny Be Good.
I mean, using it worked out. And it's kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
so he did it first, and then they stole it off a phone call. Okay, cool. Whatever.
Have you ever seen Adult Swim's version of that scene?
No.
Where the guy's like, "Hey Marvin, listen to this," and then he's like, "Hey, who stole my song? I did lay the track down yesterday." And he goes to the dance, and Marvin's like, "Oh my God, it's Chuck Berry! It's Chuck Berry!" And he's like, "How do you know who I am? How'd you steal my song?" It's hilarious. Adult Swim for the win.
I'm going to Google that one. Just check it out.
It's true, that one.
See what it is.
That one is fantastic.
That's a nice hit for it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Like I said, favorite movie of all time.
I did like the throwback because I wasn't expecting it, and it didn't even come into mind, but that they threw in Doc Brown in the middle of, what was it, a Thousand Ways to Die in the West or something?
Yes.
That was, oh my God, that was hilarious. It's just like, okay, you just see the light, the lights popping up in there, and you're going, what the hell is going on in that garage? And yeah, that really just happened. Okay, cool.
Hey, if you watch any of Seth MacFarlane's like Family Guy, American Dad, any Cleveland show, he's a massive Back to the Future fan.
Mm.
So it's no wonder he would use it as his reference points. Like, hey, look at this. Hey, look at that. Like, he's a massive, like, Back to the Future just does so much to like pop culture. It's amazing how fantastic that movie is.
And it's just like they've put a stop on anyone that either wants to keep going with it or anything. Just keep it as is. No rebooting or nothing. It's fine the way it is. That's the way it's going to be. Boom.
Well, from my understanding, there was one person they were giving a chance to do something with it. Robert Zemeckis read the script and said, "Nope, nobody touched the movie. Nobody's going to trust it ever again because I don't like what they're doing. I don't like how they're going with this. It makes no sense. Like it's a no go at all."
Yeah, I think they'd have to be really, really, I don't know, not specific, but I think it has to be like so super true to the first three movies that it possibly could move forward. But I mean,
it literally needs to blow their socks off. It needs to be.
It would have to be something so mind blowing
seen.
that it would just go poof. But then again, it was more of a, okay, even if you could incorporate Doc Brown, Marty McFly in it, Doc Brown, sure, Christopher Lloyd's not that bad. Michael J. Fox isn't really, you'd have to do some really interesting ways to get him into it to where he could be a part of the movie for a good portion, but not really have his condition affect anything, because that's just,
or just at the end of the day, just make that condition the reason why he can't be a part of it.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, you could try to put it in there, say something for it, try to say something and go switch it, because man, it was just, don't get me wrong, it was awesome to see him on that day on 2015. I think it was on was it Jimmy Kimmel?
Yes.
Yeah, they did it on that exact day. And like, Doc Brown was okay. It was a little off, but you could tell Michael J. Fox was fighting the hell out of it. Like, he was just trying to just get through with it. And it was like, damn, I wish we could help him in some way. Cause it's like, man, this is like super nostalgic. We knew we knew the day was coming anyway. We knew it was getting to that point. Maybe they'd say something or do something, but to see him like that, instead of being super into the character where he could do it physically, it was just like, man.
I mean, there's the Michael J. Fox Parkinson's Foundation where we can donate money to that and try to help him with those kind of research stuff. So we can there's always something we can do in that kind of sense. So it's not like there's nothing we can do. There are things we can do. With that being said, there's also like I think his son is a neurologist, a neurological scientist, trying to find a cure for that as well. I believe. And yeah, you just have to donate to the foundations and get more research done. The more money they have for research, the better they're going to be. Like he goes through a lot of experimental procedures that kind of help him with those kind of situations. So there are things we can do. We just have to get out there and do them.
I mean, there's a lot of things we could do. It's just people are too greedy and conceited to even try it. But hey, whatever. That's the planet we live on.
It's not their problem until it's their problem. That's the problem with it. It's not their problem until it's their problem. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with them until it's like their mother, or their father, or their uncle. Then it's like, oh my god, we gotta do something. That's just the way the world works nowadays, unfortunately. That people think, hey, it's not my problem until it's my problem.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the biggest problems we have with COVID right now. Is that it's nobody's problem until it's their problem. Until they lose a family member, until they lose somebody important to it. And unfortunately, this world is about a bunch of selfish people that don't care about themselves. And that's what's caused our problems.
If we could only go back and change just a little.
I mean, that's the thing. Going back and changing a little bit ain't going to help because we could change a little bit in the wrong direction.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind going back and then coming back again. And, ooh, look at that. I got a really nice truck.
Yeah. You want to do things don't always work out that way though. I mean, look at
other movies that try to do something like that where
Butterfly Effect mess everything up.
Yeah, you know what? The Butterfly Effect was just interesting because it was like, wow, you get to see all the interesting ways just one little thing could change, and it's like,
yeah,
it's like, man, I wish I think that's just, yeah, well, he just had the power to do it, so it was just like, but
every time he changed something, he messed up something else.
something worse or something different happened, but he wasn't paying attention too much to it until he changed it too many times and was like, wow, this really turned out bad.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You can either end up change something for the better, like Mario Fly did, or you can do something for the worse, like Execution did in that movie, Butterfly Effect. Or you can do something middle ground, like the Avengers did. It's a crapshoot. Like whenever you go back to try and change something, you have no idea what else can be affected by that change. I mean, the whole basis of Butterfly Effect is like if you stop butterfly, if a butterfly fast is going the wrong way, that could change that could change time forever.
Yeah, it just depends on where. It's just so many strings intertwining. If you mess up one string, the other ones might not do exactly what happened to begin with, and
yeah.
Damn.
I mean, that's where the concept of parallel timelines come in. Like if you look at the theory, like you have a choice. Every time you make a choice between left and right, that's a new timeline. The timeline of where you go left, the timeline of where you go right. So
sounds like someone should stop you and just have a sacred timeline.
Exactly. A sacred timeline would definitely
solve all the problems. Someone should have something like that and just keep you on your path. Yeah. No matter where you're going, you stay right here. You don't get it. You're not really getting a choice.
Yeah. It's already pre-decided for you that you're going to do this. You're not doing that. You're doing this. So
that turned out that didn't go in exactly the direction I thought it would, but hey, I thought it was okay.
Hey, you can always jump in between timelines and kill your other self so you can become stronger.
You could.
Like, you just kill every other version of yourself and then you become the one. So.
I don't know. I you know what? I might keep an alligator version of myself. Just for play.
You completely misreferenced there.
How so? I want to keep an. I wouldn't
Jet
mind
Li-
having an alligator. Huh?
Jet Li's the one.
Oh no.
You completely misreferenced
No.
there.
Yeah, you lost me on that one. Yeah, no.
Yeah, where there's two versions of himself. One's a good one, one's a bad one. The bad one's going through different versions, killing every version of himself. So they both get stronger. Same time.
I mean, I completely forgot about him.
Yeah.
I mean, he fell off the planet, but
he kind of retired because he didn't like the way
hmm,
movies were being made anymore, the politics, all that stuff. So
yeah, he just he was good. He was getting there, and then it just went. He just was gone.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, what was the name of that one movie he did where he wore the collar that kind of neutralized him, then they take it off and he become a beast?
Mm.
Say that movie, Unleashed. That movie was garbage. I think that was literally the last American movie he made. I think that's not even making China. He's not making Chinese movies again.
I agree. Probably was.
Because that movie was garbage. It sucked. He was in so many. Like, I enjoyed Romeo Must Die.
Yes, that was a good movie.
I disagree with that. It's a bad movie. I love it.
No, it was a good movie. It was okay. I won't say it was like great or anything, but it was.
You are aware that him and Aaliyah never kissed in that movie, and there's a reason for that.
I mean, she didn't want to, if I'm correct.
He didn't want to.
I mean,
he did not like the age gap. She's way too young for me to be kissing in a movie. So
I mean,
and then there was the one he did with DMX. What's that one called?
shoot, the one with DMX was.
It's good. It's
all right.
I think Romeo Must Die and that one on the same page, and then he did War with Jason Statham, which sucked.
Yeah, that was no.
And then Unleashed was also sucked. The one kind of fell in the middle between those two.
What the hell did he? I can't even remember that. I can't. That's messed up. I can remember Romeo Must Die. I know about War. He was in the Expendables.
Yes.
He was in Lethal Weapon.
Expendables was the last big movie he made, but he did a small role in it.
Yeah, I don't remember the one where. Yeah.
What's the one with him and? It was him and DMX.
I think it was, wasn't it?
It was him and DMX. It wasn't Romeo Must Die.
Cradle to the Grave.
Cradle to the Grave. That's a good one.
There you go. That was decent.
That one, I think that one was better than Romeo Must Die. Let's be real. Romeo Must Die was their version of Romeo and Juliet. That's our issue with it. It was
it kind of was.
It's okay, but it's like it wasn't great.
I really only like Cradle to the Grave because the way DMX and Anthony Anderson play off each other was great.
Yes.
I liked it because it like somebody needed to help out DMX, and Anthony Anderson there helped him out because DMX wasn't really an actor type, and having him there to kind of push something away because all right, we need somebody to help out because sure, he gets that rough house look, but he's not really saying much.
Yeah, he was. Rest his soul. I'll say that. Rest his soul. We should jam out to his stuff all the time.
Hey man, he had some hits. He had some good hits.
He has some
real good ones. Some bangers.
Anyways, but I still jam out, man.
We could jam out all day.
Yeah,
we could jam out all day. I could throw some stuff in here. We could just jamming, but
no, we can't. Copyright. Let's be realistic. Copyrights are like, no, take that shit down. Actually, it goes to his state now because y'all suck. So, getting back to the Future. Do you remember the script you wrote for that movie, for a sequel movie?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember?
I believe I still have the letter somewhere.
It was a decent script.
I know I have the letter somewhere. where they sent me back like, no, they're not going to do anything with it, but thanks for, writing in or whatever.
Really? You actually sent that in?
Yeah, I did.
Really?
I did. I still have the actual letter. I believe it is in some box or something like that. We found it a while ago, and I was just like, wow, I was really ambitious. I just said, screw it, I'll give it a shot. I mean, it was all right. I mean,
no offense, but it wasn't that great of a script.
no, it wasn't. But I mean,
it was. I mean, when you look at
for the fact that I wrote it that young, and I just said hell with it, I was going to go with it, I would say yes, it was something interesting to do, and that I had the balls enough to send it and say hell with it. Let's see what they say.
You do have a bravado that I do not have. I will give you that.
I'm willing to take a risk.
Yes, even if the character work was completely inaccurate and it made no sense, it made absolutely no sense to be back to the glory.
When I look back at it, it was like off. It was blah blah, but
yeah,
it was just, hey, I wanted to write something and I wrote it and I gave it a little try, but hey, whatever, cool. It was a good shot. Granted, the fact, no matter what anybody sent to them, they were gonna shoot that shit down anyway. So
I disagree, because there was somebody they were going to give a shot to. Like I've heard about this. Like Robert Zemeckis, from my understanding, got the script, read the script, decided the script was shit, and decided that based on that script that he was done. I've heard from if you ever watch Cobra Kai, those guys that did Cobra Kai, they had an idea for a sequel trilogy for that movie. Robert Zemeckis decided to go against it. Like, no, it's not important. Just let it go. So nothing with that movie will ever be done until his estate decides to let it go. But as long as Robert Zemeckis is alive, nothing will ever happen.
Yeah, I don't foresee it happening.
I mean, he still owns every right to that
traction or anything. But if for some reason they said, we're giving you the go ahead, and they couldn't get, I'm pretty sure, well, Christopher Lloyd will do anything. He says yes to everything, so that's a given. Michael J. Fox might say it or might not.
If the script's good, he would.
Yeah. Huh?
If the script is good, he would.
Yeah, well, let's say the script is good, but physically he can't do it.
I disagree with that. I think he could.
For some reason. Let's just say for some reason he couldn't. Boom, boom, boom. Who would you choose who would you choose to go ahead and fill it?
I would cast Jules. I honestly, if I had to write, if I got the privilege to actually continue the story would be based around Jules, Vern, and then Marty's two kids, Marty Jr. and his daughter, who I can't remember the name of. I don't even remember if they ever gave her a name, but I would base it on those four characters and go from there. Definitely recasting the daughter and the son of Marty Jr. because may have Mary J. Fox play that role makes no sense now.
I mean, I know why. I mean, just to do it, just to get a good laugh because they all look like them is hilarious. But it's just like,
to do a full film, no, I would definitely not try to play that role. But
if you had to recast Doc Brown,
I wouldn't.
I didn't. That's not an option. Because hey, the script's going forward. We need to recast Doc Brown.
If I'm doing a sequel trilogy, I wouldn't. Either I get Christopher Lloyd or I move past it. I mean, I'm going to make Jules or Vern the next Doc Brown. Like I'm going to make his sons the next successor to his life. I would, if I can't get Christopher Lloyd, then I'm not going to recast the role. I will say, hey, he passed on. One of his sons is now, or bring in a daughter. Hey, or he has a third child now. But I would definitely give one of his children that next step to go, hey, we learned from our father. We know what to do. Like, we could take this and run with it. Because they would have the blueprints. They would have the knowledge, especially the way he did it. Because they're not living in one timeline. They're living in any specific point in time they want to. With Clara and Doc Brown, they can go to the future. They can go to the past. They can learn everything based on that. They have more opportunities to be the smartest people in the world than anybody else in that universe does. So I would give it to one of their children and let
As
them.
long as they don't change nothing when they go back. You know,
Yeah.
But kids don't always do as they're told. So
Yeah. If you remember the cartoon, that's exactly what happened.
yeah.
Marty and his brother, one of his brothers, was it? Nephews?
Yeah. I want to say nephew.
No, it was Marty. It was Marty, and it was one of the Doc Brown's kids. That's what it was. They went around and messed up time, and then they had to go back and fix it. That's what they usually have to do.
Yeah, the cartoon didn't last a lot.
No, I think it was like a season. I think like 35 episodes.
Like just one, and they stopped it.
Yeah, wasn't the best, but
yeah.
So,
but still, it was something to watch because it was like, oh crap,
yeah.
Back to the Future's out. I'll watch it. They can do whatever they want now.
Yes. I was actually thinking of the Bill and Ted cartoon. His little Ted's little Bill's little brother. Bill's little brother. That's what I'm thinking of. But let's move past that.
If I did had a chance, I would say I would try John Lithgow as Doc Brown.
I could see that.
I could see like
he could play any role.
He's just like I could see it if it had to. I could see it happening with him because he's got that funny, serious type thing with him, and he's just really good. Plus, he's tall as shit too, so it's not like he'd be short and be like, "Ooh." Really
if I was going to cast him again, it would be either Joel or Vern from like The Way Future. Just because those original movies had such a place in my heart that I would not try to rechange anything. Or
there's nothing to change about it. There's nothing to reboot about it. There's nothing to do with that. Just leave it the way it is. If you push the story forward while keeping true to the continuity of those three, follow it exactly with it. There's nothing should be changed with it. Use it to move it forward and keep it going. If you can't do that, then there's no point in even thinking about it or talking about it.
Yeah, and that's what the other guy who was trying to write a script who wanted to do a reboot did not figure out. He wanted to change so much of that story. And for a movie that actually started Robert Zemeckis' career, like really get off the ground, like why would he ever want anything to touch it?
Yeah, don't do it.
Although I'm sure what's his name? Crispin Glover would definitely disagree with that one altogether. But hey.
I mean,
yeah.
Legally, go ahead. I guess you had something to do for it.
He was right though. I mean, they had
career-wise, I don't think it was the best move. I don't think it was the best move. Legally, that was cool, but after that, it was just like, dude, really? All right, screw it.
I would disagree with that. I mean, he may not be the most mainstream guy out there, but he is making his own movies. He has his own studios. Like he's doing stuff.
He pushed it a little. I mean, I don't know. It's just when I heard about it, I was just like, wait, maybe. Well, but then again, like I said, legally, it was just like it was.
Legally, he had every right to do it.
Just ignored him with it, and they just didn't even say nothing. They just just threw his whole likeness about whatever, and it was just like, all right, well.
I mean, they had a bigger role for him, and then he refused to do the movie. Well, he wanted like a really expensive price tag.
he wanted more than what it was, and it was just like, okay, well, you're really kind of just like supporting it. You're not the main person at all. Yeah, you're in there,
but he had a big role for what.
Yeah, he did have a big supporting role.
Yeah,
like he would not be in, best actor, and he would be best supporting actor if it went into any categories. That's what it would be, and it's like, dude, that's what you would get. Like,
I get that, but at the same time, they could have just replaced him without trying to make the character look like him.
I mean,
you could have just recast it and nobody would have said anything. Like, hey, this is who it is now. It is what it is.
You know what? They should have did that because they did that exactly with Elizabeth Shue.
Exactly.
With
Exactly.
Clutch.
It was
They
just
could have did the same thing, and no one batted an eye. No one gave a shit.
yeah, exactly. You could have done the same thing. Hey, this is George McFly.
Yeah,
Like
boom,
that is
here you
what it
go.
is. And you didn't even have to cut his roll down. Just gave the guy his lines. Like, hey, boom, here's George McFly.
Yeah, here you go.
And I
Here's
think
George
that's
McFly,
what
you'll deal with it.
yeah, and that's what affected the script so much is that they changed the script so dramatically because they couldn't get Crispin Glover back, and they should have just ran with it. And that I think that's something that they've learned that they should just deal with.
Yeah, no, people are just like, screw it, just change the person. We'll figure it out later. I mean,
they did it with an Iron Man, and nobody's batted an eye at it.
yeah, no one cared. No one gave two shits. That was really bad for Terrence Howard, but hey, he worked out okay.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like, hey, if you're gonna replace an actor, just replace the actor. Go about your business like nothing changed. Nobody's gonna say shit about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this whole big thing of like, oh, well, we have to explain it. No, you don't. It is what it is. Just throw them in the role, let them do their thing, and call it a day. End of story.
Did it with the Hulk.
Did it with the Hulk. Yeah, did it with the Hulk. They did it with multiple characters.
One of the Warriors 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it went from the guy that was in Once Upon a Time to Zachary Levi. So like it is what it is. Like, just change the character, go about your business, and let it go. People like, I mean, before the internet was a thing, they used to do that all the time. Just we can't get the guy back. Let's just create a new character. Let's just replace the character.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do it. It would have just moved everything forward. Probably would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, he was just. Why are you asking for more than what you should? Start off first, get your little foot in the door word, and then just keep it going with it. Don't. Whatever.
It is what it is, though. He wanted too much money. The problem with that thing is like they did what they did. They did not need to put prosthetics in somebody's face to make them look like another character.
Yeah, no, they didn't need to do that.
They could just let it be what it was.
People.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of comic books and stuff out there to justify change. Like, just let it go, man. Let it go.
Let it go.
But going back to your script, you do realize what the biggest problem with your script was, right?
I was young and didn't really have a sense of flow.
I would disagree with that. Because I read your script. I thought the script was decent. But like my biggest problem with your script was like, dude, this doesn't follow canon.
Yeah, it didn't have a flow with it because it didn't go. It just went from a simple idea that I took with it and I just ran with it and I just kept going and it was just like.
I mean,
I did want to figure out the only thing that was stuck in my head, which I didn't really even think outright, was how did the house burn down?
Yeah, but that wasn't the biggest problem with the script. The biggest problem with the script was you had Doc Brown in a garage with a DeLorean. It's like, what happened to his wife? What happened to Jules? What happened to Vern? What happened to the train? Like, there's so much like what happened to all these other elements.
I had it. All I had was an idea, and I just ran with it, and I didn't think about keeping the flow of everything going straight. Yeah,
that was the biggest problem.
If it would have kept straight with that, and he was there to do something or whatever, because I could sit there and I could think about it, and something could come up to where it would come up to that's what he's doing. But no, it just didn't.
Yeah, I would get that.
Like I said, at the time that I wrote it, being as young as I was, it was probably good. But
no, you wrote it as if you only seen the first movie. Like,
in hindsight, looking at it, that shit was a 1 out of 10, and that's giving it the one just because I wrote it at that age.
No, I will give it 3 out of 10.
I give it the 1, and I'm only giving it a 1 because I had the balls enough to send it in.
No, I will give you 3 because I read the script. It's not a bad script. It just listen to me. It's not a bad. It was not a bad for being 14. It was not a bad script. It's just like
every time, when I knew this was going to come up eventually. I knew you were going to say something about it, and I don't even know what to say about it. I really don't. It's just I think about it and it just feels like it's just
So you're doing that self-deprecation thing right now, where you're like, oh, I did a horrible
That's
thing.
because no, I'm not saying not like self-deprecate. It was just when I think about it, and then I think about what like I'm trying to remember what my mindset was, and I can barely do that. But I just know that I had an idea and I ran with it, and I didn't give two shits about what came beforehand.
Yeah, no, I will 100% agree with that. Like, you had no thoughts about, hey, 2 and 3 happened. Nope, it went from 1 to this movie.
So yeah, like I completely ignored it, and it was just like, yeah, it won't go nowhere if it doesn't have. But then again, like I said, back then I didn't have an idea of like, let's keep the continuity flowing. It has to have a good flow from the first set of movies, so that way it just keeps it going instead of, let me just put this shit in there and hopefully it flies. And no, it doesn't work that way.
I don't know if you remember this, but I read the script. You read the script, and I was like, "What about 2 and 3? What about the second and third movie? Like this, you're missing a lot of these beats that were in those movies." And you're like, "Shut up!" Like, I don't know if you remember that, but I was like, "You're forgetting about 2 and 3 because the DeLorean's destroyed and he has a train now with a wife and kids. Like, where are they in the script?" You're like, "Shut up."
I completely ignored it. I was going in some direction. I know that I think we were fighting the government or something like that. I can't remember.
I don't remember what you would. It was something so, and it was full of curse words. It was like every other page,
like, wow,
every other line was like curse word, dude. Like, you had one curse word on like every other line. I'm like, I don't remember them cursing this much in the original movies.
Yeah, I think I finally got used to swearing so much that it was just common. You know, it was just in my vernacular that I just kept popping them out. And I just, you know what, I'm just going to keep writing them down too. Oh, look, it just happened to be almost every other character doing it. But they rarely said anything in there. It was always a PG type of.
Yeah. It was a good, it was a decent Elseworld story.
Yes. If it was set in the DC universe, it'd be somewhere in the back.
Yes, it would be Elseworld. If it was Marvel, it'd be What If. But
no, I wouldn't even give it What If.
But if you play
What ifs are actually somewhat decently good. So yeah, this is not a what if. This is a
okay.
It's somewhere.
You're knocking yourself down a little bit too much. I mean, considering that you were like 14 when you wrote it, it's not a bad script.
Look, it's one of the variants that they caught. It's stuck in one of the cases or whatever. It's stuck in one of the drawers, and nobody actually thinks about it.
Well, anyways,
you never saw it, you never heard about it because you never needed to.
Hey, but if you go back and look at what they. If you go back and look at what they did in the PlayStation 3 game, they did the exact same thing. They forgot about the wife. They forgot about the kids. They forgot about the train. It was just back to the DeLorean and like 155 different problems. Mm-hmm. So it kind of falls into this. Everybody keeps thinking about the DeLorean. Like, if you're going to move forward with the story, the DeLorean's gone. It's never coming back. Let it go. Don't focus on those elements. Yeah, it was a great concept when they did it, but sometimes you just gotta let shit go and move forward what you have. Trying to focus on just the DeLorean, let it go, dude. It's gone. Yeah. Now it's a train, or make it something else. Make it another vehicle. Like, let the damn thing go. Like, everybody wants to bring back that old element, like the DeLorean. Hey, they killed the DeLorean in the movie. It's gone. Let it go. It doesn't need to be there. You don't really need Doc Brown. You don't really need Marty. You can use the next generation of people. You can bring them in, give them a brief cameo, small role, like a lead-in role that they introduce the next generation, and then go from there. If you're going to do something with it, like, you don't need them to be the main focus.
You said the next generation.
Yeah. Hey, it works for Star Trek. What can I say?
It did. They really didn't use too much of it. They just had the premise and then brought in new people for it, and poof.
It was what, 100 years in between the two? So 50 years in between the two?
80, and it took a little bit before it caught, but once it caught.
I mean, and then when they did that movie Generations, that was that was a good connection for both movies, and then ending Star Trek as it was. I like Generations. You like Generations? Is it because they killed Kirk?
No, I think it was more how they. If you really think about it, almost every odd number Star Trek movie sucked.
I thought Generation was an even one.
Every even numbered movie was
decent,
pretty damn good. 2 was good. 4 was hilarious. 6 was good to end them.
Yes.
8 was amazing for Next Generation because it was just boom. It was just different. It was they upgraded the show immensely. The 10th one could have been good if it didn't coincide with a Star Wars release.
Which one was 10?
Star Trek Nemesis.
Which one was Nemesis? I don't think I've seen Nemesis.
It was an interesting story, but it was meant to end the Next Generation line of it, but it came out the same time. I can't remember which Star Wars movie came out around that time for it. I think it was one of the prequels or something. And the fact that they were there was something else that was up with it that they were going against, and it was just in the studio side of it. So it was just,
Yeah, I gotta be honest. The last Star Trek thing I actually paid attention to was Generations. That movie. I like the way they gave Kirk his farewell. He ended up in a timeline he didn't belong in, and gave everything he had to let everything proceed and could go forward with what they had.
I mean, thinking about it, they kind of did it with a bunch of the cast from the original series anyway, because they already had a few of them on Next Generation, and they were doing something where they were helping somebody out or just there just to keep moving forward. And it was like, okay, cool. But I don't want to say it didn't.
With Kirk,
I don't know. Something just felt left out with that. I don't know why. It just did. The only good part, or at least the only interesting part that I didn't see coming until they just focused on his head, was when Data said, "Oh shit."
Which one was the one where Data died?
That was Star Trek Nemesis.
Okay. Then they just brought him back later on. Anyway,
yeah, and it was just like, okay, cool. It was a good. It was a good. Something good that we knew he would do, but it's like, okay, they can't fire, we can't fire, but I'm pretty sure we have like 2 or 3 shuttles we can just go over there and blow up. But whatever, let's just send off somebody to die.
If what I've heard is true, he wanted off the show, and then they killed the character off, and then he said he wanted to come back, and they brought him back.
Well, he wanted off, he just wanted to be out of it, but they already knew they were ending, and they killed off his character, so he couldn't do anything else with it. But then when Picard came around, they were like, well, we have this idea to use it. Do you want to run with it? He ran with it, knowing that he wouldn't have to play him again afterwards. He could play somebody else.
Okay.
So it Nemesis was kind of like a cheap way that Data died. We knew why he did it, blah, 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 blah. But the TV show Picard kind of gave it the closure, a better way for that character to go. A little bit more meaningful.
Wait, so they killed him off again in Picard?
In a sense, yes.
Okay, whatever, man. Whatever.
It's.
I don't have all access, so I haven't seen Picard.
I mean, you don't really need all access. You got a computer.
I don't care enough to look for it.
Yeah,
I guess.
I mean, there's free websites out there you can watch it too. So
that is true.
But it's an interesting storyline, and it was a unique way to end, because remember, Data's really not a person. He's basically a walking computer.
Yeah.
So
he's no Spock. I'll say it like that.
no, he's not a Spock. But even Star Trek Discovery paid some really good homage to Leonard Nimoy. That was pretty. It was pretty heartfelt when they did it too. It was a pretty good hit. And it was like, wow, that was pretty good. Wasn't expecting it, but it was a nice, good little tribute to him for it. And it was like, wow, okay, cool.
I'll take it for it. I haven't seen it.
They really paid good to it, and I'm hoping Star Trek New Worlds keeps the flow going with them, because it's basically a younger version of them. But I don't know.
There's so much Star Trek out there for me. I'll say it like that.
Now there's a lot, and
I remember when it was like just one show every so often. Like you end Generations, you start Deep Space Nine, you go from Deep Space Nine to Voyager, you go from Voyager to Enterprise. Now it's just like you got 2-3 shows going on at once, and I don't know what's going on my camera. Why it's jumping all of a sudden?
Yeah, I don't know why either, but I think, well, see, because like the original series was just like, it's one of those where it's like, oh my God, it's crazy. Let's just keep watching it. It's just different. Let's just see what they do, blah, blah. And then it ended. And Next Generation had that more, it was like one-off stories, but they were somewhat heartfelt, or they had some type of morality with it, and you kind of go with it, and it kept building. They had good character development. Deep Space Nine was just like a totally different, like it wasn't based on a ship. You're basically there and everybody comes to you. So it's kind of the backwards way. Instead of you go to them, they come to you, and you got to just keep focusing on them.
You're in a space station. What can you do?
Yeah, you're on a space station, and they
I know way too much about Star Trek.
Huh?
For someone who's not into Star Trek, I know way too much.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just, yeah, it's on a space station. So now it's just cool. Okay, it's different, but now this one was more, it was a little more darker, and it was
it's a lot
basically
darker.
The later end was basically about war.
Yeah.
That's it. It was all about war. And it was something totally different, where it was just like, okay, they're not trying to, help people all the time, or trying to, find new things or anything like that. They're trying to prevent, an entire section of the galaxy from, I don't know, getting overrun. So that was different. And then Voyager's just, let's just launch them into the other side of the known galaxy, and we can do whatever the hell we want. Which is what they did.
It worked. It worked out.
It worked because they literally can do whatever the hell they want. They messed up a few things, but they did everything. It worked out, and now they're. But see, like Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager were all set like right around each other, so they could kind of intertwine.
Okay.
Which was okay, but the new shows now, they're all set in different time. They're all set in different points in time. So you got one in the 23rd century, one in the 25th century, well, 24th century, late 24th, and one in the 32nd century.
Well, I know that Discovery pissed off a lot of people.
It did at first because no one knew what the hell was going on.
Okay.
And then the second season kind of solidified where everything happens.
Okay.
Because they just threw it out there, and we're just like, okay, one, where the hell is that ship in? Two, why are they dressed like that? Who the hell are these people? Where did they come from? And two, kind of solidified.
Dude, what the hell just happened? I can't hear you anymore.
Now you can?
Now I can.
There you go.
You muted yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, I hit it by accident. I don't know why.
I'm like, wait, why did this go silent?
Ooh, damn. My bad.
I think this is a good place to stop.
Yes. So it's basically been time travel all time travel all day.
Yep, all day.
Time travel all day.
One of these days we're going to talk about Doctor Who, because
that's a whole.
That's an entire show by itself.
It's a little bit too long. We're not gonna. Yeah, let's not go into that.
What can they find you?
You could find me on YouTube and Twitch at ZerokoolGamer. Just
hit me up.
Yep. Boom. How about you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ChiTown_Pyro.
They're
Until
somewhere
next time,
around
guys.
here. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
somewhere at the
somewhere.
bottom.
Somewhere
Somewhere
at
at
the
the bottom. Somewhere.
Leave your comments. If you haven't, please subscribe and follow. We'll give you some new content soon. Thank you guys for watching. You guys have a great day.